Welcome everyone to Zone 2 Talk. I got a feedback last time from my video saying that I speak like a dead person. So this is my attempt trying to amp up my energy and speaking like an alive person. The topic for today is job interview, and it is closely related to the next podcast that I have with with a guest. So when did job interview became part of our life? Was it always a part of human society, or did someone invent it and it just blew up and became what it is, or what we call today as the job interview? Did some reading on this and found out that it was mainly during the Industrial Revolution in 18th or 19th century that companies or factories they wanted to, or they were booming and wanted to hire more people so that the productivity of their company is significantly increased. Initially it was people who they knew within their circle. If you know someone, hire them and start working. And late 18th century, early 19th century, we started seeing hiring based on merit. It's been credited that Thomas Alva Edison, also the inventor of light bulb, designed one of the earliest forms of structured candidate evaluation for hiring, as we know today as interviews. During an interview, Edison would present a bowl of soup and ask the candidate if they would add salt or pepper to it. And candidate who answered yes immediately were rejected. Why? Because Edison believed people who made assumptions were bad for innovations. He wanted um, curiosity, knowledge, and thoughtful analysis, and not people who are in an autopilot mode and don't have the ability to reason or question their decisions. And then I had this thought in my mind: what if I was born in that era? What would be my experience of attending a job interview? I found this question interesting, and I asked my dear friend for an answer, or to generate a list of questions, that is ChatGPT. And here are some of the interesting questions that would have been asked in an interview in 1925. The first one is, can you operate a typewriter? And how many words per minute can you manage to type? Are you willing to work 6 days a week? Would be a question that can be asked these days, not in certain parts of the country or in certain parts of the world. Do you have experience with telegraphs or switchboards? Do you drink or smoke during working hours? This one is funny because the thought of it right now is weird, but back in the day, this was an interview questions. Are you comfortable working under electric light rather than daylight? Wow. It felt so weird answering these questions, as it was far from the reality as we know now. Um, the reality for a job seeker has changed so much that the questions from 100 years ago makes no sense. In my opinion, in the days, the tasks were mainly clerical or blue collar work, and employers wanted immediate productivity rather than future leadership potential. Based on the readings that I did, reasoning, logical ability were not something that was key factors for hiring people. It was obedience, endurance, like how long can you work, dedication were some of the factors that got you the job. In contrast to today, which could be more behavioral, could be more psychological, could be more analytical skills. The more that you have, the higher chance of you being hired. Um, and and then I was thinking, okay, I went 100 years back. So in 1925, it was a weird world. What would it be in 2125? That's 100 years from now. What kind of question would there be a job interview? And if yes, what kind of questions would they ask the candidate? And again, ChatGPT, here you go. Are you comfortable working across Earth, Mars, and orbital time zones? Obviously. How would you protect data sovereignty when memories can be shared or hacked? Wow. Would you accept your salary in Earth currency, Mars currency, or lunar currency? Which is an interesting factor because right now, the salary that we get is based on which country we live in and the country's currency. But when we become multi-planetary species and you want to work in Mars, what kind of currency would Mars have? And what does it mean for people working on Earth? All those angles. Fascinating. Again, 100 years ago, even though you knew what typewriter is and what typing speed is, I couldn't relate to the questions that were asked 100 years ago from a job interview perspective. And the same thing is true for questions that are uh, created 100 years in the future. Um, the only ones that can somehow make sense are the questions that are being asked right now. Maybe because interviews are psychological mirrors, they just don't measure the skills, but they also measure it's like a snapshot of the values of the society that we live in. Um, and if the society has a certain skills that is needed, then those skills would be something that would be present in a job interview. And those skills are something that you would put in your resume or CV and start marketing it or advertising it to the job interviewers. And then I had this question: would we be presenting CVs or resumes in 2125, like 100 years from now? Would there be this concept of CVs or resumes, or would there be something new at that time? And while trying to answer that, I wanted to like understand, what does CV mean? How did it all start? And CV is nothing but curriculum vitae. It's a Latin word which means the course of one's life. Found it beautiful because what it's trying to say is that when you're sharing your resume, that means you're sharing your course of your life. So this is my journey of life. Do you find it interesting? And if my journey suits your company's needs, hire me. And the first person to do that was Leonardo da Vinci in 1400s or 1482. He wrote a letter to Duke of Milan listing his skills, that he built bridges, canals, architecture, art, basically saying that here's the course of my life, hire me. That was the first, at least what I read, first documentation of the original CV that was being used. Maybe if it was LinkedIn back days, you would have uploaded it in LinkedIn and spammed the interviewer. But fast forward to today, what do we do with this grand idea of journey of our lives or course of one's life? We have narrowed it down to one pager. And in addition to that, we also have created rules, which sounds weird. Um, you're like forced to write the journey of your life in a page. And if you have it in 3 pages or 4 pages, nobody has the time to look into it. Meaning you can't really express who you are, your moments of joy or your moments of creativity, laughter can't be captured in that piece of paper. What does that even say about yourself? It's mainly your work journey or your course of work life with all these fancy words like I increased my company's or department's efficiency from 10% to 15%, blah, blah, blah. I'll make this team the best team in the world. I'll create unicorns, but it doesn't talk about the times that you almost quit because of lack of motivation. It doesn't capture the time that your manager said something powerful which made you stay. Um, it doesn't say how I balance my personal life, professional life, like how I put my young ones to sleep and open the laptop, finish the pending work that I have. All these things, even though are a part of your work life journey, cannot be described in a CV. So, what resume actually tell about you? It's not the story of your life. It just tells the story of what society has decided is worth writing down. It's not that I hate resumes, or the format of it. I understand that in this busy world, nobody has time to read your journey of 5, 10 pages and pick the best one that suits for the team. Everyone is busy with their own life. And um, the best we can do is follow the norm of the society, or maybe not. Decide for yourself. With that note, thanks everyone for listening in. I have a guest coming in next week. Her name is Kate, and she's a career consultant in Denmark. I'm reading her book. It's called Global to Local, How to Write a Winning CV for a Danish Market. And it's quite interesting. So if you are someone who is currently looking for a job, has recently been fired, needs some help, then I think this book is definitely the one to have a look at. And then you can hear more about it in the next week's interview with Kate. Until then, thanks in Danish talk and Jai Hind.